Hello, everyone. Roger President+Great here. Nice to be with you. Hope you've had a great week. I had a good week. I mean, the news cycles this week were, whoa, to die for, right? I mean, the talk show, spit it out, boy, talk radio show host or whatever, Fantasyland this week. Oh, my goodness. If I had a daily show, I'd have had so much content, I wouldn't know what to do with it all. Wow. Well, so much this week. Donald Trump's announcement, which we're going to talk about quite a bit today. The Trans-Pacific or Trade Promotion Authority deal, part of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which is very, very scary for anyone who doesn't know what the phony free trade debacle is about. You're going to learn about it here a little bit today. I hope you get to all that. We've just got just amazing news, this shooting in Charleston, and what that really means and what is underlying there with regard to some of the larger issues in society, racism, psychotropic medications, etc. It's amazing stuff out there this week. I want to start with Donald Trump. And the reason I want to start with Donald Trump is because I found Donald Trump to be a really fascinating entry into the presidential fray on the Republican side. And the reason that, and believe me, Donald Trump is not a moralist. As far as I know, he's not a practicing Christian. He's not going to be anywhere near me. I think he's, friendly to homosexual folks. You would think, well, Roger Fredenberg would never be interested in Donald Trump, right? And by the way, I want to thank the good folks. I didn't realize how important I was out there until I found an article on the internet over the weekend where it looks like the right-wing watch, the far-left, anti-American, godless simpletons at right-wing watch are apparently listening to this show and monitoring it and then making comment on their website about it. And I just want to welcome you all from the far left, the way out there, whacked-out, frizzled far left, to the program. Nice to have you aboard. Glad you listen. Maybe you'll shut your mouth long enough to learn something while you're here. Anyway. It's got to be a badge of honor to be written up in the right-wing watch, as a far-right radio host. I'm far-right? God, I'd hate to think what you think of these other guys are here. Woo! Anyway, I don't think of myself as far-right. I think of myself as a populist, conservative patriot. But very different from far-right, but, think what you want to think. Go for, I don't care. You can't offend me. Good Lord. So let's talk. Okay, I want to get to the trade deal. I want to get to Charleston. But I want to talk Trump. Donald Trump, I saw many places on the web. I tracked this very closely because I was really curious, and I found many places on the web where people had made a comment similar to this. For the first time in a long time, I felt like there was hope. And I watched that, and I've been around politics a long time, worked on a number of campaigns. So I watched the Trump announcement, which I'm going to share part of with you. And Trump did really good for the first 15 minutes. He was, I think, amazing is the right word. Wasn't amazing because he's a great orator or a great political spokesperson. It's not that. He was amazing because he gets it. And I get that he gets it. And I know that other people get that he gets it. Now, he may not articulate it in the way a trained, Harvard or Yale political, lawyer might understand it or portray it, but he gets it more than any politician I've heard since Ronald Reagan. And that is something that I saw shared multiple times on various places on the web, Facebook, Twitter, different websites, etc. And so I was just elated because that's how I felt. I thought, the guy makes me feel hopeful for America. I mean, he gets it, and he's got the bravado. They're saying that's his weakness, his bravado. And I'm thinking, no, he's got the bravado to pull off the greatest recovery in the history of the world with regard to America. He is a no-nonsense deal maker. He is the guy. You don't want some weirded out, quiffy little wimpy doofus like John Kerry sitting across the table from the rough and tumble folks in Iran or whatever. You want a guy like Donald Trump sending him a memo saying, do this or else. You know, he's got that kind of personality. You know, a tough guy, kind of street fighter, I'll punch in the nose kind of a personality. And that bravado that some people would, I think, misinterpret it as arrogance. That bravado is a powerful thing in politics, which we have been lacking for a long, long time on the Republican side of the tickets. We have these wimpy, goofy, weirdo, you know, the Maverick, John McCain, Bob Dole, you know. I remember the perverted Viagra commercial Bob Dole made. You know, anyway, I don't want to get into it. Point is, these guys out there in the newsland are going crazy. They are freaked out. I mean, George Will and Charles Krauthammer and Bill O'Reilly and you know, even Ben Stein, I noticed on the Saturday morning show on Fox there, they're all, you know, downing, you know, Trump's not that smart, Trump's this, Trump. They are terrified of this guy because he doesn't fit their little cookie cutter mold. They know they can't control him. He says it in his announcement, and he's 100% right. They can't control Donald Trump. Now, I may disagree with Donald Trump on 1,000 different points of light, I'm telling you. I mean, there are things I know I disagree with regarding Donald Trump. But it's kind of like being a Christian. For those of you who are Christians, every church and every particular strain of Christianity, whatever, you know, the Baptists and the Nazarenes and the Pentecostals and the evangelicals and whatever, everybody has a little bit different doctrine, a little bit different way of, you know, looking at how the church or the body of Christ should conduct itself. But in the end, you have essential doctrine. And so, as far apart as some churches may appear to be in their everyday run-of-the-mill doctrine, at the core, at the center of their beliefs is that Jesus Christ is the living, you know, resurrected Messiah as depicted in the Holy Bible. He is the Son of God. Whether you believe in oneness or Trinity, it doesn't really matter. Jesus is God. Okay, most people believe that in the Christian world. There's an essential doctrine, my point is, and I don't want, again, I'm not looking to get into an argument about all the nuances of Christianity, because that we'd be here forever and nobody would want to listen. But with Donald Trump, I realized, listening to him speak, as far apart as we are on social and moral issues and other things, which we'll get into later if the campaign heats up, he and I agree on the essential doctrine of Americanism, of the patriotic, hardcore founding principles, the things that make America great. And so while the corporate fascists are trying to merge with government and become a Nazi-like fascist state in America, and that's what the Trans-Pacific Partnership, this new fast trade phony baloneyism is, and I'll try to get to that later, but Donald Trump gets most of this stuff. He understands that if China charges us tariffs to put products in their market, then we should be charging China to some kind of tariff to put products in our market. In other words, it's tit for tat. It's fair trade. Fair trade means that everybody plays by the same rules. We have created trade programs and policies like NAFTA with Mexico and the World Trade Organization and GATT with a variety of international entities, and primarily China. They are advantaged by these trade agreements. We are disadvantaged. We intentionally sell out our own people. We intentionally cut the legs out of American business. Now, these giant international corporate fascist businesses, these multinational companies, who even though they meet in New York City with their stockholders meetings, they used to say the national anthem, sing the national anthem and say the Pledge of Allegiance before the American flag at every single board meeting, at every company on Wall Street and beyond, Gay Street, whatever. They don't do that anymore. They have no loyalty to America, no patriotism, even though almost every one of those major companies up and down Wall Street, K Street and beyond, even though they're all connected to the United States military apparatus and how it defends our country so that our businesses can have their multinational, international components. They don't want to pay for it. They want to lobby and pass bills and put all the burden on the smaller little middle class folks. And they're fascists. They want to merge with government. You hear it all the time, public-private partnerships and, all these weird, corporate influences through their lobbying and all these laws that play into the corporate elite hands. So when liberals talk about it, they're anti-American, socialist, communist, nut jobs, okay? And the truth is that's fair to say in most cases. But at the center of their essential doctrine on trade and fairness and corporate greed, they're actually right. And we have to fix that, because if it's not fair trade, then it's unfair trade. And so American businesses and small companies in America don't have the advantages of being able to go to the World Trade Organization and GATT protections and all these things. So they are left out of the argument, out of the equation. And small business is the backbone of this country. As much as people like to think big businesses, that's not true. So we're becoming a fascist state. Donald Trump understands that. And he understands that our politicians have borrowed themselves till they're blue from China and other people, and that it's influencing policy and politics and legislation like this fast trade thing. And he gets it, and it's like, wow, it's like, well, God help us. We've got a potential presidential candidate who sees the problem. Hallelujah, praise Jesus, and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to talk about it more and more. And we've got a lot coming up today, so don't go anywhere. You are listening to Roger Fredenberg on The Roger Fredenberg Show. Always a pleasure to be here. Radio Roger at AOL.com or at Radio Roger on Twitter.
Father, Donald J. Trump.
That is some group of people, thousands. So nice. Thank you very much. That's really nice. Thank you. It's great to be at Trump Tower. It's great to be in a wonderful city, New York. And it's an honor to have everybody here. This is beyond anybody's expectations. There's been no crowd like this. And I can tell you, some of the candidates, they went in, they didn't know the air conditioner didn't work.
So welcome back. Roger Fredenberg here. We're joining the announcement of Donald Trump here. I wanted to just share that little announcement. Ivanka Trump introducing her father. Very, very, very cool. I think just very, very cool. And I just, wanted to talk about this today because it's so important for America to find hope. I made a joke over the Facebook pages or something over the week that Obama was for hope and change, and I'm hoping like I've never hoped in my life now for change. I thought it was funny. But Donald Trump, we're going to get into some of what he said here today, because what he says, and I think that he's being there's an attempt to just destroy him now in all the media. It's like the Bilderberger New World Order rulers or somebody put out an order. Stop Trump. As a matter of fact, I actually am concerned for his safety, because he's not towing the line of status quo. He gets the problem, which we'll get into in a minute. He's not playing the status quo card. So I'll go through this just a little bit. I think this is a fascinating. If you didn't get to see it, pay close attention. I'm going to break this down today. Pay close attention to what he really says.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you today a man who I have loved and respected my entire life. My father,
I just have to hear the opening again.
Donald J. Trump.
That is some group of people, thousands.
Yeah, more than anybody
So
else
nice.
got.
Thank you very much.
Nobody's
That's
had an
really
opening
nice.
like
Thank
he
you.
had.
It's great to be at Trump Tower. It's great to be in a wonderful city, New York. And it's an honor to have everybody here. This is beyond anybody's expectations. There's been no crowd like this. And I can tell you, some of the candidates,
none of the other
they went
candidates.
in,
Hillary had
they
nobody.
didn't know the air conditioner didn't work.
By comparison.
They sweated like dogs. They didn't know the room was too big because they didn't have anybody there. How are they going to beat ISIS? I don't think it's going to happen. Our country is in serious trouble.
Yes, it is.
We don't have victories anymore.
No, we don't.
used to have victories, but we don't have them. When was the last time anybody saw us beating, let's say, China in a trade deal? They kill us. I beat China all the time.
Yes, he does.
All the time.
He's a good negotiator. He's awesome at
When
it.
did we beat Japan?
All right, I want to stop there. The media, the George Wills and the Charles Krauthammers and these people who are just, the rhino status quotitions out there. Oh, God, I hate those people. I do. They are making fun of Trump. Oh, yeah, don't you remember World War II? Do these people realize how long ago World War II was? And do they realize the extreme effort we had to make to win against Japan? We had to nuke them. They were killing us. Do people not understand that Japan was winning the war against us? Japan was killing us. This little teeny island country in the middle of the Asian nowheresville on this little globe of the we call Earth, and we had to nuke them to stop them. They were so determined. They're just as determined or more determined on trade policy and product development. Anyway, we'll be right back. I'm Roger Fredenberg, RadioRoger at AOL.com. Don't go away. There's more to come. All right, welcome back, everyone. Roger Fredenberg here. So nice to be here. Something about you that reminds me of money. That's right, Donald Trump. Wow. So let's go back to Trump here on the Roger Fredenberg Show, because I do think this is a defining moment for America. This next election really will make or break us, in my view, as we understand America. And I think most people see it, feel it, know it's true, and agree or disagree with my view of where America should go. And that's fine. America was built on discourse and a little, ruffling feathers and disagreement and such. But I do think that we've been on the wrong track, and I think most folks know it. Donald Trump is explaining to us why. And while the pundits will make fun of him for forgetting that we beat Japan, he wasn't talking about war, Charles Krautheimer and George Swill. He was talking about trade and in, just regard to the larger economic danger that America faces right now. We are on the precipice of total and complete collapse financially. By tomorrow afternoon, Greece may be gone. The country of Greece is about to decide tomorrow, euro, no euro, back to the drachma. Hello? We're in very dangerous times, and we are just, as Donald Trump points out, very close to that breaking point in America. He says that his accountants and folks he knows, economists, telling $24 trillion in debt in America is bye-bye. Well, we're going to hit 20 probably in 2016, $20 trillion in debt. Oh, my goodness. So let's listen to a little bit more of the Donald here.
At anything. They send their cars over by the millions. And what do? When was the last time you saw a Chevrolet in Tokyo?
Yeah, right.
It doesn't exist, folks.
Just classic cars.
They beat us all the time.
They do have classic cars in Tokyo.
When do we beat Mexico at the border? They're laughing at us, at our stupidity.
Of course they are.
And now they're beating us economically. They are not our friend, believe me. But they're killing us economically. The U.S. has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems.
Yes, we have. We are like.
Thank you.
We are literally like the septic tank for the world. I mean, everybody just flushes their garbage down the old Swisher and it flows into America. It's frightening.
It's true. And these are the best and the finest. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us.
We are the check valve for Mexico. Just this last week, there was a group of folks who came in from Mexico to one of those border towns, Laredo, one of those places along in El Paso, maybe in Laredo, I forget, anywhere along the Mexican border. I didn't write the article down, didn't keep it, I apologize, but what I'm telling you is true. You can look it up. Council members or people from the state government in Mexico came to America and complained because in Arizona they passed, no, I think it was Arizona. Anyway, they passed a law making it illegal for businesses to hire illegals, and they're sticking to it. So it's causing people to come back to Mexico, and the people on the Mexican side of the border, I think it's Nogales and different places. Anyway, they're saying, hey, we can't handle the influx of all of our citizens back. We don't want them. We don't have the social structure to deal with these deadbeats. You got to do something. You got to employ them. Mexico's trying to tell us that we can't allow their own people to come back. Hello? And the people that are coming here are the people who have the least amount of skills and abilities to improve or better America. And so we sound like xenophobes because we're saying, hey, man, shut off the spigot of the lowest common denominator coming to this country. We need literate people and educated people and scientific-minded people, and but we really don't need any more people who have menial labor skills. We got a lot of welfare deadbeats, honestly, that should be forced to go out and work to get their check. I don't know what's wrong with this country, but I think Donald Trump, he gets it. Listen more.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. But I speak to border guards, and they tell us what we're getting. And it only makes common sense. It only makes common sense. They're sending us not the right people. It's coming from more than Mexico. It's coming from all over South and Latin America, and it's coming probably from the Middle East.
And what's more important is what he's saying here, which I'm probably the only media pundit, so to speak, if you want to call me that, that'll catch this right away. What he's really saying is they're sending them. Listen to what, sometimes there's a lot more in what someone says than what you actually hear. Listen deeper. They're sending them here. What does he know that we aren't being told?
But we don't know because we have no protection and we have no competence. We don't know what's happening. And it's got to stop. And it's got to stop fast.
Amen, brother.
Islamic terrorism is eating up large portions of the Middle East. They become rich. I'm in competition with them. They just built a hotel in Syria. Can you believe this? They built a hotel. When I have to build a hotel, I pay interest. They don't have to pay interest because they took the oil that when we left Iraq, I said we should have taken.
Yes, you did.
So now ISIS has the oil. And what they don't have, Iran has. And in and I will tell you this, and I said it very strongly, years ago, I said, and I love the military, and I want to have the strongest military that we've ever had, and we need it more now than ever. But I said, don't hit Iraq, because you're going to totally destabilize the Middle East. Iran is going to take over the Middle East. Iran and somebody else will get the oil. And it turned out that Iran is now taking over Iraq.
Yes.
Think of it.
Listen to him. He
Iran is
actually gets
taking over Iraq.
He's tuned in.
And they're taking it over big league. We spent $2 trillion in Iraq.
$2 trillion?
$2 trillion.
Oh, my God.
We lost thousands of lives. Thousands in Iraq. We have wounded soldiers who I love. I love. They're great. All over the place. Thousands and thousands of wounded soldiers. And we have nothing.
That Iraqi oil should be being sold to take care of them. What he's saying is, you got to read between the lines here. He's saying, why is this Iraqi oil, why is it not being taken and sold to pay for our wounded veterans? Why do I have to choke down 300 Wounded Warrior commercials on every Fox News program because ISIS sells the oil and builds hotels in Syria? Donald Trump is so right on. Are you listening?
Every time we give Iraq equipment, the first time a bullet goes off in the air, they leave it. Last week I read 2,300 Humvees. These are big vehicles were left behind for the enemy. 2,000, you would say maybe 2, maybe 4. 2,300 300 sophisticated vehicles they ran, and the enemy
It
took
means the Iraq army ran and gave them to ISIS.
You're right.
Like I said, he doesn't articulate that well, but he does, because we get what he means. And
Last
I feel
quarter, it was just announced, our gross domestic product, a sign of strength, right? But not for us. It was below zero. Who ever heard of this? It's never below zero. Our labor participation rate was the worst since 1978. But think of it, GDP below zero.
You hear any other candidate talking
labor
about this?
participation rate. And our real unemployment is anywhere from 18 to 20%. Don't believe the 5.6. Don't believe it. That's right. A lot of people up there can't get jobs. They can't get jobs because there are no jobs.
That's right.
Because China has our jobs.
Yes.
And Mexico has our jobs. They all have our jobs. But the real number is anywhere from 18 to 19 and maybe even 21%. And nobody talks about it because it's a statistic that's full of nonsense.
We want jobs now. You got to love that.
Our enemies are getting stronger and stronger by the day.
Yes, they are.
And we as a country are getting weaker. Even our nuclear arsenal doesn't work. It came out recently. They have equipment that's 30 years old. They don't even know if it worked. And I thought it was horrible when it was broadcast on television, because boy, does that send signals to Putin and all of the other people that look at us and they say, that is a group of people and that is a nation that truly has no clue. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. We have a disaster called the big lie, Obamacare. Obamacare. Yesterday it came out that costs are going for people up 29, 39, 49, and even 55%.
That's
and
right.
deductibles are through the roof. You have to get hit by a tractor, literally a tractor, to use it.
The deductible's so
because
high,
the deductibles
combined
are
with
so
the monthly
high,
payment,
it's virtually useless.
It's useless. That's right.
It is a disaster.
High deductibles make your insurance
And
useless.
remember the
He's
$5 billion website.
Yeah.
$5 billion. We
Tell me
spent on
another
a website.
candidate that talks like
And
this.
to this day, it doesn't work. A $5 billion website. I have so many websites. I have them all over the place. I hire people. They do a website. It costs me $3. $5 billion website.
We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Roger Fredenberg here. Wow, I had to get out of that break quick, didn't I? Woo! Welcome back. Donald Trump. I mean, it's all Trump this hour. Come on, people. I'll say again, Donald Trump gave me some hope. I don't feel hopeful very often. I'm going to go back to what he said. I'm cutting in a little bit later here because I want to get to the end of his speech. But he really goes on and lays it out for people.
And that's what we have representing us. They will never make America great again. They don't even have a chance. They're controlled fully.
Talking about our politicians a little bit later.
They're controlled fully by the lobbyists, by the donors, and by the special interests. Fully. They control them. Hey, I have lobbyists. I have to tell you. I have lobbyists that can produce anything for me. They're great.
I'll bet you do.
But you know what? It won't happen. It won't happen. Because we have to stop doing things for some people, but for this country, it's destroying our country. We have to stop, and it has to stop now. Now, our country needs a truly great leader.
Oh, God, don't we?
And we need a truly great leader now.
If you think Donald Trump is that guy, email me at radioroger@aol.com.
A leader that wrote The Art of the Deal.
Leave a note at Radio Roger
We
on
need
Twitter.
a leader that can bring back our jobs, can bring back our manufacturing, can bring back our military, can take care of our vets. Our vets have been abandoned. And we also need a cheerleader. You know, when President Obama was elected, I said, well, the one thing I think he'll do well, I think he'll be a great cheerleader for the country. I think he'd be a great spirit. He was vibrant. He was young. I really thought that he would be a great cheerleader. He's not a leader, that's true. You're right about that. But he wasn't a cheerleader. He's actually a negative force. He's been a negative force. He wasn't a cheerleader. He was the opposite. We need somebody that can take the brand of the United States and make it great again. It's not great again. We need somebody.
You're listening to Donald Trump's announcement.
We need somebody
I'm mesmerized
that
by it.
literally will take this country and make it great again.
Yeah, exactly.
We can do that.
Doesn't that make you feel hopeful?
I will tell you, I love my life. I have a wonderful family. They're saying, Dad, you're going to do something that's going to be so tough. You know, all of my life I've heard that a truly successful person, a really, really successful person, and even modestly successful, cannot run for public office. Just can't happen. And yet that's the kind of mindset that you need to make this country great again.
No more career politicians.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
Wow. You know, I if you haven't seen that whole speech, it kind of falls apart after this. He gets to, you know, he starts becoming way too extemporaneous here, but it's okay, because the part that I loved about that is that he's not a trained politician. He's not being trepidatious and cautious with every word. You know, they're basically making him out to be a clown. You know, you don't become an $8 or $9 billion success story because you're a clown. And I'm sure that they're going to find a million ways to tear Trump down and make him look like some kind of a, you know, bad guy. I mean, they have to stop him. That's why I say I worry for his safety. They have to stop him because he exposes them for the useless eaters that they are. And he talks about that later in his speech, about how they're all just stupid. He comes right out and says it, what I've been saying here for years. And he breaks down the China policy, which I've been saying, and talks about how China, you know, and the debt is a threat to the country. He gets what I get. So I don't know that he's the greatest guy for president or anything, but I'll tell you one thing. He's given me reason to be hopeful that this race is going to talk about real issues. And that means a lot to me. I'm Roger Fredenberg. I'll be back. Don't go away.
Don't you know?
You're listening to The Roger Fredenberg Show.